I will say, because technically, according to the internet, I'm cooked. I'm above 35. I've never been married. I don't have children, which says I'm a red flag. Why would you, a man that has all of these options, a lot of the options, also indulged in some options, why would you choose a woman that is 37 instead of a woman that is 27? Is that a good question?
That's an
Yeah,
amazing
yeah,
question.
yeah. Why would you, bro?
That is a good question. It's a good one. Whoever wrote that one. Why would I?
Because she's fine.
You got well. Just saying an age is one thing. It's who's the age attached to. You know, this age that we talk about, 37, is attached to Sarah. Like it ain't too many of you at any age.
Say, look at her, she fine.
So wherever you can get her at, you better take her. You know, I just so happy to get you at 37. You know, I would have took you at 27. I would have took you at, you know, whenever I can get you. You know, but at the same time, now that I have you at 37, the benefits of that, you know, I would say you are wise.
Thank you.
You are, like, we talk about a lot of stuff, you know, not just business wise, just, you know, different experiences that you've had that maybe I haven't had and you can tell me about, you know, or you really know yourself now. Like, you know, I would never go for this, or I've already tried this before and I know I would never do that. So you know yourself so much, so well, and the experiences that you coming with are like super valuable, you know.
But why wouldn't you want a young woman who is malleable, like who you can?
Bro, listening to this, I know she has a podcast, but it's like, are you trying to talk dude out of this engagement? Because trust me, if he can find a woman who's 27 years old, 24 years old, early, very, very, I mean, like late 20s, that looks just like Miss Sarah here, bro, he'll take it. Right? He would. Well, I'll take that back. He's in love with this woman. So again, he let his emotions out. If he had kept his emotions in and came and found a younger version of her, I think he would make a move on the younger version. It just makes more sense because it's like, all right, I want to have kids, and she's younger. It's going to be easier. In theory, you know, the younger you are, the easier it is to have kids. You know, versus a woman who's going to be really dealing with issues trying to have a baby because of her age. Go with the young girl. And like she's about to say, hey, you can basically mold this young girl and you can show her things. And it's like, yo, Miss Sarah, stop talking. You're going to talk yourself out of this thing.
Conform into whatever it is that you want. Why would you want a woman that's technically cooked? Is there value in a woman that's cooked?
Yeah, the value in your experience, you know, the value in your connections, you know, yeah, there's a lot of value in you.
Okay. Well, why not someone that's 27?
Well,
Don't they have value? Can't they
mean-
have the same connections?
I mean, connections take time, so I mean, and it's pros and cons with both, to be honest. You know,
Tell me the cons.
the
for
cons
us.
with a 27-year-old.
For both.
This doesn't make sense. Like, what is she doing? Like, I get it. You have a podcast and you're trying to do your thing, but what are you doing? Sometimes you want to do a little fluff piece. Sometimes you want to just, you know, toss softballs to your, right, to the person you're interviewing, especially if the person you're interviewing is a high value man who just proposed to you. Like, dude is sitting here thinking, like, what are you doing? He's doing his best to not answer off the top of his head and just give, you know, hey, am I cooked because I'm 35? Yeah, in the sexual marketplace, yeah, you are. You know, but lucky for you, there's me. Hey, lucky for you, Miss Sarah, you found the high value man. You know, it's just one of those things. Like, it's like, yes, you're cooked. You took too long. you probably passed on a bunch of dudes, and I get it. You didn't like them. You didn't like what they were doing. You had dudes that were cheating on you. You had the other dudes that were telling you the truth. Like, look, I'm gonna still step out. I'm gonna do what I do. Like, you don't control anything over here. If I ask you to make some fried chicken, you better make some fried chicken. Like, you just some dudes like, oh, this is how your mom get down, and you ain't doing this. You're cooked. But to bring this dude on here, right? And say, hey, explain, am I cooked? Is he gonna say, yeah, you cooked? Of course he's not. He just asked you to marry him. But he's not gonna just, just break it down and say, hey, in the sexual marketplace, yeah, it's gonna be tough for that woman who's older, right? You cannot compete with the younger version of yourself. You just can't. Yeah, you have a lot of experiences, but that means you got a lot of scars, bro. You've been in a lot of battles. You done put in work. You an OG. Let me get this little baby gangster so I can keep her away from too much trauma. She's gonna hit some trauma, but let me try to help her avoid the trauma. Let me invest in her and feed her, not just emotionally, but like they say, spiritually. Let me, show her the way. Yeah, the younger person is gonna be more advantageous. It's just like now. I'm a mid 50 air traffic controller, right? I'm already retired, but I will be coming up on a mandatory retirement age anyway. Right. So, yeah, I come in like I want to be an air traffic controller. And there's a young controller that's applying for the same position. You go with the youth. You go with the youth. Like, I'm just applying to be just a controller. I'm not talking about today's ATC world in America because it's all jacked up. They would love to have me. I'm not coming back. But I'm just saying, you're going to invest your money with the youth, the person that you can grow with as an organization. You look at any professional sport. Right, look at Cincinnati Bengals. We got Joe Burrow, probably one of the best quarterbacks the league has ever seen. He gets hurt a lot. That's the Bengals' fault for not getting him an offensive line, but we're not going to talk about sports too deeply. But Joe Burrow gets hurt. They bring in Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, one of the second oldest active quarterback in the NFL. Now, Joe Flacco came in and just did a really, really good performance against a division rival in the Pittsburgh Steelers, who has the oldest active quarterback in the NFL. They were going back and forth. It's an amazing football game. But you're not going to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into Joe Flacco because he's too old. You want the young version. You want the young QB that you can invest in and grow your organization with. Joe Flacco's only going to give you hopefully one good year. Hopefully, remember, he started his season in Cleveland. So, I don't know why women get so upset when they hear that. It's like, younger women have it better. Yeah, that's a fact. You talk to women like, when you were younger, you had it better, right? Well, yeah. And ladies, I know a lot of ladies don't like to hear it, but ladies, you can't compete with the younger version of yourself. You just can't. Just like I can't compete with the younger version of myself. I can't outrun the younger me. The younger me was jumping out of airplanes and doing all kind of military stuff. I can't do that stuff now. My body won't hold up. I dropped something on my toe the other day and it broke my toe. I got a broken toe with one leg. The other leg, something's wrong with my foot. It's in constant pain. I got aches in my hips and my knees and my shoulders and my neck. I'm constantly in pain. In my mid 50s, when I was in my mid 20s, didn't nothing hurt, bro. I was out there doing all kind of crazy stuff. So, you can't compete with the younger version of yourself. Ladies, that's just how it is. So here's Miss Sarah with this serious look on her face. Look at this look on her face. Like, look at this look. She's asking this guy why. Basically, she's saying, hey, why are you messing with me? Am I cooked? Look at the face. To me, this looks a little bit like a self-sabotage right here, bro. Self-sabotage. And he's doing everything he can to accommodate. And, he doesn't want to be in his interview in the first place. And now he's sitting here thinking like, damn, what is going on here? And he's doing everything he can. He's bending over backwards trying to give the answer he believes she wants. If I were him, I just would have gave a straight answer. I'm like, well, look, yeah, I think you're beautiful, obviously. I love the way you move. Like, if I were him, this is what I would be saying. Like, I love the way you move. You're the one that I want. Now, can you compete with the younger version of yourself? No. No, you cannot. The younger version of yourself is going to beat you out every time. Yes, you have experience, but with that experience came battle scars. The younger version of yourself doesn't have those battle scars. Dudes don't want that, right? The younger version of herself will probably make that chicken right away. Whereas the older version of Miss Sarah still ain't made that fried chicken for old boy. Those are the obvious things. And again, if I'm dude, he's 6 months in. If I'm dude, I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay. Like, now I'm starting to think of, she's forcing him to think of the negative things. Like, yeah, you don't want to cook for me. Yeah, you're a little bit too alpha. Yeah, you refuse to stay home. Like, if you go out for girls' night, you refuse to not take the girls' trips. You refuse to not remove the males from your social media. You still interact with a bunch of random men or men that you say that you've known or whatever. I don't like that. He's starting to, now he's starting to think like, well, man, do I want to marry this woman? Let me know what y'all think, bro. I think this is a little bit of self-sabotage here, man. Let me know what y'all think.
Let's do 37.
Okay.
The cons in a 37-year-old. Not necessarily you, but just a 37-year-old. You could be broken.
Paul Pierce said that.
Like I said, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about just a 37-year-old.
Why would a 37-year-old be broken?
Too many battles.
Could have been broken. She's been through so many heartbreaks. The guys that have done her wrong, she could be broken.
Too many.
Okay.
Too many battles.
What if she's not broken? I don't know.
What if she's not broken?
I feel like a 27-year-old is more likely to be broken than a 37-year-old.
Why?
You know why
A
she's
27-year-old is still figuring themselves out. A 37-year-old, we know who we are. We're not getting broken anymore.
She said that because she's competing with 27-year-olds and she can't compete. So yeah, you think they're broken. I'm better than that. No, you're not.
I think, as a woman.
I think a 27-year-old or 25-year-old, like, they haven't seen everything yet. They haven't experienced everything yet. So they don't think the world is, so dark because they haven't, had their heart broken as many times, whatever the case is. And, they probably have a easier outlook on what a man would do for him, or what a man, does he really love me? I think when you're older, sometimes you bring a lot of baggage.
Like what, kids?
I mean, kids is big, or just baggage as in
emotional damage. That's what he's talking about.
just past traumas.
You don't feel like young women have past traumas?
They just don't have as many because they hadn't lived as long.
So what's their cons for young women?
A younger woman just being naive, being
That's it.
not as stable in life.
She doesn't have to be.
You know,
There are no real cons. Sister Sarah's sitting there listening. She's like, oh, you said about 5 or 6 things about me being old, and there's only one thing about being young. If you get a young person, if you want to deal with it, bro, like they're people hate to hear the word trained, but they're easily trained, especially if they're into you. They still on that puppy love, bro. They haven't mastered their emotions yet. So the younger girls, if they like you, they like you. Right? They're not gonna trip, especially if you're the guy that's teaching them things and providing experiences they've never had before. Right? If you take a young woman, you take a 23-year-old, 24-year-old to Milan or to Turks and Caicos, or hell, if you take her to LA and she ain't never been to LA before, and you fly her out there first class or business class, and you have her stay in one of the finest hotels. Most young women aren't accustomed to that unless they come from privilege. They're not accustomed to that. So you're teaching her things. You're going to take her to the finest restaurants. You're gonna take her to events where she's walking the red carpet. She's gonna, have someone shove a microphone in her face and ask her what she's wearing, and you know what I mean? Or she's gonna get to meet celebrities and very powerful people. She's gonna be holding onto your arm and she's gonna be like, wow, it's an experience for her. She's gonna love that experience. Now you take a 35-year-old on that same experience, and she might be complaining. Like, yeah, it's business class, but we're on this airline. I always fly that airline. We're on Delta. I always fly American. Oh, you don't have the universal pass. You know, oh, you bringing too many bags. Right? You take her to the hotel. I mean, the W is okay, but I prefer the Roosevelt. If we stay at the Roosevelt, it'd been closer to the event. Right? You get to the event, you get out the car, you're on the red carpet. She knows everybody. Right? So the dude is like, what's going on? You can't really provide any experiences for an older woman, especially an older woman who's out there doing the work like a dude. You can't really provide experiences for her that she hasn't already experienced. It's like, okay, all right, well, next time we take a trip, I'll make sure I go American. She's like, yeah, but, you know, I would have, you know, Jimmy would have let us fly in his, you know, Falcon jet. Who is Jimmy? And he has a Falcon, right? You know what I mean? Or he has a Challenger, or he has a Gulfstream. So when you're dealing with older women, they made their play at the highest of high value men and couldn't get on. And now she's coming down to you, because that's what it is in her mind. She's coming down to you, although you're still high value, right? That's not a good place. So yeah, the young girl, she ain't never dealt with any of that. She ain't never rode in Jimmy's Falcon. She ain't never been to the Roosevelt. She doesn't rub elbows with executives. Like, she's never been on someone's yacht. So that's why older guys, especially successful guys, go for the younger women.
It kind of sounds like a 27-year-old is better.